Hello, and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 138 for the week of Monday, December 23rd, 2013. Merry Christmas, everyone. Almost Merry Christmas. My name is Ryan Higgins, who is here with me this week.
Brock Sager.
Happy Kwanzaa, bitches.
Happy holidays, this is Bryce.
That's Omar. That's Bryce. Filling in for Toby this week.
Oh, Lane.
Hello, Lane.
What's up, Lane?
And Charlie.
Welcome back, Charlie. Toby is previously engaged. Hopefully he will be here maybe at some point in the recording. If not, we will talk to him shortly about some of the stuff we're going to talk about this week. But
for us.
This
Not for them.
week and next week, we're going to have two special episodes about the end of the year 2013, talking about some of our favorite stuff from the year, and maybe a little bit what we're looking forward to in 2014. Because we do the book club pick, which would be next week's episode, we're actually going to do the comic stuff in next week's podcast. So this week's going to be more kind of TV movie stuff, video games, kind of various things. We did comic related in some fashion, or at least various facets of nerd related. So hopefully some stuff you guys will be interested in. And then we'll be back next week for our big end of the year comic wrap up for 2013, as well as our comic book club pick for the Infinity Gauntlet. So hopefully you've read that by next week. If not, you still got a week. Go read some Infinity Gauntlet. Mm-hmm. It's a good book. So 2013, a lot of big stuff out this year. Movies, TV, a lot of surprises. Brock, you're at the front of the table. You want to start us off here?
With what I enjoyed?
It doesn't have to be a top list or top 3 list, no order, whatever. Just give us a list of a handful of movies, TV, video games, podcasts, if there's various, news events you like. Just let's talk about just kind of this year as a whole. Obviously, the more comic related, the better. Although we've talked about we had a nice Doctor Who episode a few episodes back, so it could be tangentially comic related. But
I guess for me, the highlights would be like TV wise would probably be probably top of everyone's list. Arrow, Walking Dead. I would even throw Game of Thrones in there for TV shows that I really enjoyed from the year.
Yeah, let's start TV. Let's go around. We'll start with TV and go around here. So to get everyone's pick. So
yeah, those are the ones I'm really caught up on. I know Dexter finished and Burn Notice finished this year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but I actually haven't got caught up on those ones yet. So same thing with Breaking Bad. I know, Bryce. I'm sorry.
Ugh. Breaking Bad's not nerdy enough. All the normals like that shit.
Yeah, they do science in there to make drugs. That's not nerdy at all.
Breaking Bad was amazing, but I'll wait my turn.
Yeah, I'm good. Go. Omar, you're next.
Oh, I'm next? Yeah, I'm so happy that we finally have some yaoi TV shows out there like Arrow. They can make me feel like I'm everyone's gay like me. So I love that. I love how they fucking Milk called. Hey DC, Milk called, or WB TV, Milk called, and they want their advertising campaign back.
Milk? Oh.
Milk
with
shows everyone naked, with milk dripping down their fucking
they don't show
mouth.
Naked.
Well, mostly it's athletes, I think.
No, they normally wear their jerseys.
Okay, well, they're pretty naked to me. At least,
what ads are you looking at?
I don't know.
Everything
I look at, people are naked. So my life is better than yours. Boom. No, obviously, Walking Dead, fucking phenomenal. It just blows me away that every year how they have a different group of writers and a different way to attract a lot of the people that read the comic books and do spins off things to make it so interesting. I was blown away by the mid-season finale. I love how they, were bringing Tyrese out more because he was so prominent in the comics, and I feel like he's going to be obviously really big in the next second half or whatever of the rest of the season because they'll be split up from Rick to become eventually the leader, I think. Or no, maybe it's Michonne. Who knows? What else? Oh, God, thank you so much for making the Mary Sue website because I only have one place to troll. I'm really happy about that.
Is that a personal favorite of yours?
Yeah, dude, I go there all the time. I go there more than Bleeding Cool, and I go there more than CBR these days.
No DC women kicking ass? You're not going
No, I don't go there anymore. I don't need to. I don't need to go to Comic Speed anymore because I have all of them in one place.
Mary Sue.
Jill.
Yeah.
I have I have all those girl writers all in one place. So it's like fucking Omar, I hate you. But whatever. It's all love. So, I just appreciate that there's a lot of girls out there that do, actually read books, and they are down with like the whole, this subgenre that is not really a subgenre. It's like a pop cultural thing that everyone wants to try to gravitate to. I walk down the streets of San Francisco, walk down the streets of San Diego, wherever else where I travel, even Hawaii, which is like the most non-nerdiest place you'll ever go to because it feels like you're like in a different like country. But people all wearing Superman, Batman shirts. Like, tonight me and Charlie are sporting our Batman shirts. One's kind of cooler than the other. He's wearing like the more cooler, kind of like artsy, kind of faded OG 90s Batman, and I'm wearing just the basic.
You've got the Frank Miller Batman shirt there. That's
It's a big fat bat. So, what else?
I just wanted a shirt with long sleeves today.
Yeah, and you did it, man. You did it.
Well,
sleeves are attached?
Yes.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah, TV. We'll do some movie stuff afterwards. So, any other big TV things for this year? I mean, Arrow. Is going to be on everyone's list. So let's be clear about.
that. I'm sure
Walking Dead will be too.
Arrow will be a big thing only because they say people's names and shit. But when it comes down to it, really, you're watching, like I told you before, like on Wednesday, the Lifestyle. You're watching like Brave and the Bold, or not Brave and the Bold. I'm sorry, Young and the Restless.
Right.
As the World Turns. It's a fucking soap opera.
Sure.
And I don't think a lot of these comics like. Arrow comic does not feel like a soap opera when I read that shit with like
comics are soap operas just for men. There's a little more action in it. There's a little less there's actually plenty of cat fighting too. But that's what I mean. These things they're ongoing soap opera style stories where characters come and go. They come back from the dead. There's betrayal and double cross and romance and murder, and they fight some superheroes, and they go and things change, but not really.
And the biggest one? Who shot the person? You won't find out until the next issue.
Right.
Robert Kirkman, grow some balls. Kirkman, grow some balls and throw some more of your sex scenes in that fucking television show, and we will like it more. It's AMC. You can get away with shit. I want to see more than blood splat. I want to see some other splat. Boom.
Ew. Bryce, what you got?
So for TV shows, this is we'll call it a great year for TV. Some that I'm caught up on, some that I'm not. Dexter, holy hell, was that terrible last season. I'm not sure how many people that listen to this have seen that, but that was just awful last season. Really wanted to like it. Liked every season, but really they peaked. I don't know if it was season 3 or 4 or whatever. Loved the Lithgow season.
It's always 4.
But it was like downward ever from there. Although the Julie Stiles episode or season I didn't mind so much. Jimmy Smits, blah, blah, blah. This season was terrible. So, that's too bad. Game of Thrones, amazing as always. Can't wait till March. Have that in my queue. Just as you guys know, started with Doctor Who. Thanks to Ryan.
How far are you in now? A couple episodes in season 2?
So season 2, I'm not going to say halfway, but we just saw, I forget, we watched some last night. We're going to watch some tonight after the podcast. And going to just, keep it going. Absolutely loving how they bring so many elements back from older episodes and older seasons, including the seasons from, when it was black and white still, like Charlie mentioned with the Daleks and Sarah Jane Smith or Susan Jane Smith or whatever her name is.
Yep.
Sarah Jane Smith.
Great episode, too.
Great episode. Love, all the stuff that they used to harken back to the older series. So I'm loving Doctor Who, still catching up on that. Walking Dead, I'm behind on, but am absolutely loving as well. Breaking Bad, I was thinking today, possibly the best modern day TV show that exists. And I was thinking today about how I wish that more comic books would be like this, even though they're not related to comic books really. Just that, to have and kind of like Wolverine and the X-Men, actually, which we can talk about when we get to comic books. But I didn't think about that until just now. It's very rare that you get because it is kind of like a soap opera, TV shows and comic books, because they got to always sell more. So it's very rare that you get somebody that's in charge of it saying, I'm going to end this. And so, Wolverine and the X-Men, he's doing Amazing X-Men, Jason Aaron, so it's not really like he's ending it, but, to end the story instead of letting it just get shitty, like, not that Whedon had a choice, but like Whedon kind of did not do with Astonishing X-Men. It was a great book, and then he just let it go into a bunch of other people's hands. It went to Warren Ellis, and he did a fine job, but then they let it just sort of go on, and it was like, that could have been a great sort of self-contained story. Anyway, Breaking Bad, perfect example, I think, of a story where they said, you know what, look, we're going to have an ending. They could have milked it out for a couple more seasons. It could have gotten terrible, but they didn't. They had an ending, and therefore one of the best self-contained TV shows as far as I can remember. Beyond that, Arrow, I'm still getting caught up. I'm about halfway through season 1 still, but I am really liking it. It's been really great. And I want to give a little shout out to S.H.I.E.L.D. because I honestly believe that S.H.I.E.L.D. has the potential to turn it around. S.H.I.E.L.D. still has the numbers to, if they are to turn themselves around, become a viable, I'll call it threat in the TV industry, but they have a lot of work to do. But
they just announced that is it Avalanche? Who is it? They just said there's a big villain's coming in for the second part of the season. Is it? It's not Avalanche. Who the hell is it? It's some Avengers villain, right?
That's not Avalanche. Nerd alert. That's an X-Men villain.
Yeah, close enough. I can't remember who it is.
Blizzard?
Is it Blizzard? Maybe it's Blizzard. There is an actual villain again coming into the series. We already had not Polaris. That was his name.
Gravitron.
Gravitron.
Yeah.
So
great episode. I actually saw that episode.
that was of the couple I've seen, that was the best. So I got him on my TiVo. I'm gonna keep watching. I just need to have a few hours to catch up.
You chose Catwoman over S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's a great story. Yeah, I won't regale you all with that. But I did see an hour of Catwoman. If we want to talk worst of 2013, even though it came out in 2004, I'll still put Catwoman on that list.
They're just going to put Catwoman on every list.
And the worst movie of 2075 is Catwoman from 2004. It is still that bad. But continue, Bryce.
Fair enough. No. I mean, that was it. That was sort of my TV rundown. I have plenty more, as I'm sure will surprise no one. But TV. It was a good year this year.
Lane, you want to jump in here?
Nerdy TV shows, I guess?
Yeah.
Well, I'll stay away from the ones everybody's already talked about, since that's kind of boring.
Yeah, you got to talk about Orphan Black. You got to talk about Blacklist. You got to take the Toby
actually,
role.
I will say Blacklist. I've been really enjoying Blacklist.
Okay.
Especially the mid-season finale was really good. Not sure where they're going with it now, but I'm interested in it. That's been really good. And then, even though it's been predictable, the art's really good for the latest season of Legend of Korra. Also, another Toby favorite.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard kind of mixed reviews about Korra, but you and Toby are still really big on it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
This season was a bit more predictable, less interesting. There was a couple of extra things like romances that really didn't mean anything to the overall story, but it's been fun overall, and we've got one more season to go, so we'll see how they end it, and the animation's great as always. So beyond that, I would say Burn Notice I love the ending of Burn Notice. That was great.
Yes. And for anyone that's a big Bruce Campbell fan, he's kind of. I think I've told the story. I mean, when I started watching Burn Notice, it was solely because Bruce Campbell was on it. Yeah. And as I watched it, I was like, wow, no, that's a really good show. Even if it would suck if he wasn't on it, but.
And hey, just for you, Bruce Campbell's going to be starring in Psych.
I saw that. Yes. They had him in that trailer for the rest of for the full season. That musical was fantastic, by the way, too. But yeah, he's going to be on Psych, and he kind of. I mean, it's just Bruce Campbell being Bruce Campbell, but he's kind of got that same kind of Sam Ack style going a little bit. Mm-hmm. So
is he going to have a boomstick?
I don't know. I'm curious where they're going to go with that. I'm really excited for that.
Other than that, the only other show I really watch is Suits, but that's not nearly as nerdy. They do references, but unless you want to consider the actors from
not a big fan of Stan Lee's Kamikaze. What the hell is that garbage show?
Oh, the fandom or the cosplay girls?
Yeah. Did they? Are those both canceled at this point? They have to be.
I think so. They haven't. I don't.
Do you know, Bryce? You're giving me this questioning look.
No, there's a show about cosplay girls. What do you?
There's like this like World of Cosplay. What do they call it?
World of Cosplay.
Is that what it is?
I think that's
on Sci-Fi, right?
Something like that, and it's just terrible cosplay people being terrible.
I'm into the world of something, but it's not cosplay. It's much more nerdy.
That'll be our movies of 2015 list. So then they and then Stan Lee's Kamikaze has like a hey, for people that were like interns here's horrible nerds doing the backroom deal of Kamikaze.
Yeah, it's like to be a reality show contest thing.
It's boring. Just boring. Yeah, like I don't know what the hell they were thinking. So I don't know what turn it off. Thank you. Is it off?
No.
Turn it off. The audience can hear you eating, bro.
Oh, sweet.
We're gonna get called the eat box if you don't turn off your mic when you eat.
The eating conspiracy.
Well, that's where you're sitting in the same space Adam Fitch sits when he eats on the Geek Box. So
I'm off today.
It kills me when Fitch eats.
Does it?
Oh yeah, it's like, oh god.
Anyway, moving on. Yeah, cool.
Good for me.
Those are big ones. All right, Charlie.
So we've pretty much named most of the stuff that I had in mind, which is fine, actually.
There's a big one still out there.
Well, I was actually going to bring up Teen Titans Go.
You stole my pick. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, like Teen Titans Go a lot. It's a lot of fun. Wander Over Yonder is a very fun show, too. I like that one. Just thinking of cartoons, because we pretty much covered every live-action one I could possibly name.
We can still weigh in on your opinions.
Well,
Yeah.
my opinion is best new show of the year is Blacklist. Best finale of the year is Breaking Bad. Yeah, definitely. So,
DC Animated. We didn't really talk too much about that. Right?
well, that's why I brought up Teen Titans
Titans,
Go.
I appreciate that.
Because I'm not going to put my stamp of approval on Beware the Batman.
Yeah.
You don't like the home movies?
I am perfectly fine watching Beware the Batman, but I realized while watching it early on that out of all the Batman shows, this is the only one that I've never been like, I can't wait for this to come out on DVD or something. Like, there's literally no desire to watch it more than once for me.
Yeah, I gave
And
up
that's
after
weird.
6 episodes, maybe. I don't even think I went further than that. So, yeah.
I catch Teen Titans Go occasionally with the kids. I like it. It's funny.
How'd you like the Flashpoint Paradox?
Oh, the direct-to-video is awesome. I love all the DC direct-to-videos. There was one, I don't remember which one, but there was only one that I had trouble stomaching. But
Superman. Death of Superman. That's the
no,
worst one.
even that one I was
Ugh.
fine with. I don't
Public
remember.
Enemies?
Maybe it was Public Enemies. There was one.
A lot of people
that,
hate that one.
Yeah, but yeah, in general, no, I love all of those direct-to-videos. So
Yeah, I mean, Teen Titans Go was going to be kind of my a little off-the-wall pick there because that show is way funnier. I've mentioned it a few times. Way funnier than has any right being. A lot of funny in-jokes of comic book stuff. Just super cute, super funny, over the top. Especially if you got kids, it's great. But even if you're an adult, it's great too.
Yeah. I like the Christmas episode, the second Christmas.
That
Yes.
was funny.
Yeah. Charlie, the big one, I'm surprised you didn't mention. I mean, Bryce very briefly mentioned Doctor Who, but the 50th anniversary, just...
Yeah, but
Keep it spoiler free, gentlemen.
Yeah,
but honestly, Doctor
spoilers.
Who gets on its own list with me. It doesn't get on any best of the year list.
The best is Doctor Who. It doesn't matter what it is.
Wait,
the
wait,
best
hold
car
on,
of
hold on.
2013 is Doctor Who. The second best is something
The
else.
best in 2075. Oh, Doctor Who.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, you can't in 2013, if Bryce remembers Chris Metzen's fabulous Geek Is speech from BlizzCon a number of years ago, Geek Is in 2013 Doctor Who. All right, I mean, man, that show over the last couple of years has blown up, and that 50th anniversary delivered. No spoilers, Bryce, but man, it delivered. It really did.
That BlizzCon.
I even
Yeah.
So excited.
They really
I even
need to stop
rewatched it today.
Did it?
They really need to stop airing that BlizzCon shit because that guy looks like such a fucking idiot.
Chris Metzen? Yeah. Dude, that guy's bro as hell, man. That guy's great. I love him. But, Walking Dead is fantastic. And for everyone that says, well, Walking Dead's too slow, it's like they forget the finales. They're always off the hook. And like that two-parter with the governor is friggin' amazing.
Well, not even the finales.
There were great episodes the whole way, but I know so many people who are like, I don't watch Walking Dead. That show is slow. Like, they'll watch a couple episodes, and I'm like, yeah, do you forget what happens every finale? It's the big switch. It's a big shift to a new location, and whether it's mid-season or end of season. Those finales are where it grabs you. It's like, I don't know how people aren't, 4 seasons in are not used to this format by now. Like, really, guys, we've done this for a number of years now. This is the way it's going to be. If it's slow in the middle, it's because you're building to this big battle, this big climax at the end.
This sounds
That's
like
okay. It's not hurting for ratings.
No, it's still doing amazing.
Yeah, it sounds like when you complain about Marvel to me, I just sort of turn you off. And I'm just like, oh god.
Me or Brock?
Well, Brock's even worse than you.
Okay.
But when either of you, Brock just says, I'm done. You actually like try to explain it and you're still wrong. And
Hey,
just like, oh,
I don't know if I said.
Yeah, I don't want to make an ass of myself.
I
doing
don't.
that.
I don't remember if I said this on the air, and I should save this for the next week's episode. Maybe the best comeback of 2013. But in my moral defense,
we know what you're going to say.
And Omar, this is for you as well. No, hold on. We'll talk some comic books. I want to apologize for my bad mouthing of Uncanny Avengers throughout this year.
Man, wow.
As I decided to catch up and suffer through those issues that I was having trouble with that I thought were poor, and I still think are poor issues. Like it was issues 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 or something.
There's a few.
There's a couple.
There's always going to be a few.
It got bad. It got real bad there for a few issues, and then it picked up. And the rest of the series is pretty great.
And I appreciate that you read it at a time where you're probably not taking a shit. 1.
I read it here.
2,
over a day
not
or 2.
rushing through like 20 books.
Right. No.
3, just like watching a television show that you didn't want to watch while reading a comic book.
Yeah, no, I sat down.
3 worst times you want to read it in the sanctity of your man cave.
Yes.
And
Well, it was here, but this is a man cave
This is
enough. It was at the store.
This is the best man cave in the world.
Man cave.
So anyway, but as much as I love Walking Dead and Teen Titans Go is great, and Doctor Who and Game of Thrones, I mean, I cannot overstate how amazing Arrow has been this season. It is just mind-boggling how much they progressed in the show as time has gone on. And I want to be saying the same thing about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. next year. I'm not willing to give up on it yet. But but Arrow has progressed so far, so quickly, and man, that last episode again to the mid-season finale, like Walking Dead, just jaw-dropping, just so good, and I can't wait to see where they go with it.
I have a question.
Yo,
on your shirt, is that Morpheus or Death?
It is Morpheus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, little Sandman loves here.
Oh, yeah, it's on Death.
Spoiler
No
alert for
nipples.
next year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a big TV talk. I think we're gonna. I think we're gonna move on to some movie stuff here. I know 2013 was a year of a lot of there's some disagreement probably in some of our favorite movies this year, as I think you may have remembered.
Some,
yeah. But why don't we go backwards here, Charlie? You start with this
thank
one
God.
here. We'll wrap back up to me.
Okay, so
Again, in the nerd geeky genre, comic books helpful, not necessary. But.
right now, for me, I seem to have obviously, there are certain movies that are not out on Blu-ray or whatnot yet, like Thor 2, which would definitely be in there if it was. But right now, I have the overwhelming urge to watch. Like, I watched Man of Steel yesterday, and I want to watch The Wolverine again soon. So those are kind of like the two, like, right there for me this year. I really enjoyed Man of Steel and Wolverine, and to the point where I want to watch them again. So that's always a good sign.
Anything else?
Well, you have a problem with the fact I want to rewatch Man of Steel?
Yeah, why waste your time? I'm sorry,
Because it was a
Lane.
good movie.
I interrupted you before you started speaking, which I'm not sure counts, but go ahead.
Lane.
No, I was going to split the table in half then. I actually like Man of Steel.
Yeah.
love
I'm
that
about
movie.
to fucking split the table in half, Lane.
Yeah, you're once again taking Toby's seat to the table, split in half, 3-4, 3 against.
Yeah, you're sharing Toby's incorrect opinion.
Yeah, my two were also Wolverine and Man of Steel, and then probably a good third was sadly also following Toby. Ironically, is Fast 6, or I guess Furious 6 is what they really called it. But
Toby convinced me that we can start calling that a comic book movie. Apparently, because that's his pitch.
it's so much.
It's the best comic book movie of the year. So, Bryce,
I don't disagree. Fast. So actually, embarrassingly, I haven't seen it yet, but I love the whole Fast and the Furious series. I've seen the first 5. I've not seen 6 yet, but I've heard that it's great, and I would agree that it's comic booky enough. You guys forgot you DC lovers over there forgot to talk crap about Iron Man. That came out this year as well, and that was an amazing movie. The Wolverine was mentioned, also an amazing movie. Thor 2, amazing movie. You know which one wasn't an amazing movie? Was Man of Steel. So I was talking to my buddy earlier.
So I thought we were staying positive on the podcast today.
No, that never happened.
That was as positive as I could get.
Just about as positive you guys were last week. This is revenge time, baby. Come on.
You guys were such trolls last week. Anyway,
Trollios.
That's okay. I wasn't here last week, so
I was talking to these two. and faux Toby over here.
Fuck you, Toby.
Anyway, so Iron Man 3, great movie. I can see why you guys wouldn't like it as much. I don't see why you guys disliked it so much, but I can see why you wouldn't like it so much. I was talking to my buddy earlier this week about Man of Steel, and I think that my earlier podcast earlier this year was very much overstating the negative about how much I didn't like Man of Steel, which was really at the time to counteract your sort of positivity around it. Like, I hated so much of that movie. I liked certain parts of it. I loved Zod, and I loved the action scenes. But there was just so much, and if I was more prepared, then I would be able to talk about it more. But there was so much more that I did not like about Man of Steel.
Where's your notebook, bro? Come on.
So yeah, sorry, don't have a notebook, but I loved the fact that he had 2 Robin Hood dads. And if any of you guys have not seen the honest trailers on it, I would go to YouTube and look up honest trailers on Man of Steel. They make fun of every movie, so it's easy to...
Yeah, I was going to say, all the honest trailers, regardless of if it's a good movie or a bad movie, are entertaining.
Right. Yeah, so go YouTube honest trailers. It's hilarious. So I hated Amy Adams. I understand that she's the plucky reporter and that she's, supposed to be like that. But when she walks into a glacier and she's in Antarctica and it's dark outside, it's like, now you're just being an idiot. And so there's so many plot holes. It was driving me crazy. I hated the fact that they didn't address how about 1 billion people died, #exaggeration, in Metropolis. Well, actually, maybe not an exaggeration. In Metropolis, about 1 billion people died during their fight scene. Buildings falling over like dominoes, and it wasn't even addressed at all. I hated how they had him kill Zod. I understand that he does that in the comic books, but his whole thing is, he's Superman and he doesn't kill, and then, I kill one guy. I hate how they abduct Lois when they're in the desert. Why?
Shouldn't we be moving on to Omar's picks? Because
I'm trying to just drag
I'm just having fun listening to Bryce spend more time talking about a DC movie than any of the Marvel movies he liked.
Well, he's also recapping everything we talked about on that Man of Steel.
This is the year in review, bro.
Yeah. Brock, please. It's still my turn.
I would like to keep it positive if possible, but
I have a couple more bullet points that I won't get to. I did not like Man of Steel,
what else?
but I have to acknowledge that my initial hatred towards it was probably exaggerated due to your overwhelming love of it.
Okay, what did you like then? Other than
what I liked was everything but Man of Steel. Hold on.
And here's where
I'm about to tell you what I liked.
So hold on. Here's where you can roll your eyes at me and do a bunch of stuff and be like, murmur, hater.
Okay.
I totally forgot Iron Man 3 came out this year. I wasn't even thinking Iron Man 3 came out this year. I was thinking that was last year or something like that. It tells you how much I put that movie off.
I'm not even rolling my eyes because that's just, I'm not surprised at all.
Exactly.
Iron Man 3, great movie. The Wolverine, very good movie. Thor 2, great movie. Man of Steel, below average movie, but not terrible. Those are my movies. Marvel, keep it strong, baby.
No Lord of the Rings, no Star Trek.
So, Star Trek, I fell asleep during, and I never do that ever. But I was really tired, and I may or may not have had a beverage or two. The Hobbit, I was telling Omar this earlier, I have a bad habit of, it's actually a good habit of not seeing them in theater because I wait for the extended editions to come out later in the year. So I can tell you all about...
As the producers and directors and creators intended for the film to come out, but because of budgetary constraints...
Thank you, Omar. Exactly as Omar said. Because of budgetary constraints, I'm not allowed to see it in the theater as they wished. So I'm going to be able to tell you what I thought about The Desolation of Smaug next November.
I am not a big fan of any of the Lord of the Rings. Sorry, PJ. But man, ever since you got me with The Hobbit, where there's like no humans, and it's just all is like fantastical with like elves and dwarves and hobbits all living around with trees and running around together, and like there's no humans. It's like the best shit ever. I couldn't wait until Smaug. I couldn't wait until Desolation of Smaug came out. That movie is like fucking the truth. It's a truth speaker. I love it. Makes me want to like be a dragon and blow fire at people. I don't know.
And hoard gold.
Well, I'm not going to hoard the gold, but if I'm a big ass dragon, I doubt you're going to try to come and step to me and try to say, "Hey, let me give me some of that gold." I'm not going to give you shit, ninja. So best movies of the year for me. I mean, obviously, Desolation of Smaug is pretty fucking high. It exceeded what I expected. What Charlie said earlier about all the DC animated movies blew me away. I love Dark Knight. I love Dark Knight Returns. I was a big fan of the Frank Miller stuff, and what they did in the animated version was what I kind of thought they would do, and I love that they did a part 1 and part 2 to it to give it, because they're both very two different stories, and I appreciate that they allowed for that much money to be thrown in that direction. Though it was probably a waste of money, but I loved it. I think a lot of people that loved the story loved that they had that much time towards both arcs of the story. One being mostly about fucking what's his name, Lieutenant Gordon, and then the other about Bruce Wayne. So that was cool. And Ho asked Catwoman, which she's one of my favorite characters ever because I love hoes. She's overpaid. Sorry, overpaid. No, the pimps are overpaid. That's the problem. That's what my friend told me. And
all right.
Movies. I mean, we're done with talking TV, so we're done with talking about DC. So let's talk about real movies, like Marvel movies, and obviously that would lead to the Wolverine. One of the best movies I've seen in a long, long time. I just wish they didn't fucking throw that CG fucking Silver Surfer fucking bullshit out there. Because like
Silver Samurai,
Silver Surfer, Silver Samurai, whatever the fuck it was a dumbass robot that should have been out of the fucking movie. And like if they kept that robot out and like made that cool little samurai dude just come out with the fucking OG outfit. And why would you wait for a fucking DVD to release the yellow and fucking black costume, like the OG like Wolverine costume? Put it out there. It's like we're not in the 90s anymore. We're in the next millennium. You could fucking show Wolverine get all amped up and put on his fucking costume for the final battle against Silver Samurai, not Silver Surfer or the robot one. So I mean, I think that was so good. Obviously Iron Man 3 was so fun. I love that. I love how they spinned and played on people's fucking nerves, and people got all fooled, so they got all mad because they're like, oh, Talia trick. Yeah, whatever. What's the best movie of the year? Best movie of the year is obviously Thor 2. I mean, Thor 3. Is it Thor 3 or Thor 2?
2.
Thor 2. Okay.
It
felt like a finale.
Because it was so epic, it must have been Thor 2 and 3.
Like the first Thor, like the one I watched, that all of us watched before Thor 2 came out, because there wasn't a third film. People are telling me on the table, and I'm only trusting them because they're my friends. They give me gifts and pizza, and I'm drinking beer out of a Modak cup right now. So,
is it beer?
Yeah, it's good.
Thor 2 was incredible.
Thor 2 is so fucking great. Like, I feel bad. I feel bad that with Jamie Alexander didn't get the role as Wonder Woman, because I think that she would definitely be a great Wonder Woman. She tried to really work hard on it and do pictures, go playing with kids and shit. Hopefully her heart was in the right place playing with kids, not just trying to like angle to get in a movie role dressed up as, Sif, who... This is the problem I have. Okay, this is where, Bryce, you're talking about I want to wait until the extended scenes. They got to have some serious Thor and Sif fucking, because otherwise the movie just feels incomplete to me. In my mind, everyone's fucking, so it's normal, but for the rest of the natural, regular audience, like, average person, it's not a fucking total, like, perv.
We're going to see movies, not porn.
Listen, Pee Wee Herman's a good guy, okay? He's honest with himself and the rest of the world.
Now we know where Omar watches these movies,
just
by the way.
There's a romance scene between Sif and Thor doesn't make it a porn, Brock.
He wants all the sex between them.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he wants, is all the sex between them.
Oh, can I not leave this out?
Well, hold on. They said they were basing Thor 2 heavily off Game of Thrones. The director worked on Game of Thrones, so, and there you go.
Thanks for dropping harm on that.
Yeah, where's the gratuitous nudity?
I was blown away.
It's not gratuitous if it's necessary.
I was blown away how there were elves in the film and there wasn't a lot of orgies. It was weird because, like, I grew up on ElfQuest. ElfQuest was like my first comic book I read, and like there's nothing but orgies with elves, and I'm like, oh, elves equals orgy. So it didn't happen. Dark elves, I would think that it's a little more darker than norm elves.
Yeah, dark orgies
didn't happen. Such a waste.
You expected a cosmopolitan advertisement?
Okay, so Red 2 came out this year. I didn't watch it yet, only because I was so astounded by the original Red that came out, which was a comic book film, just like 30 Days a Night, another comic book film, but most people don't realize it. Two Guns, another comic book film. Boom Studios. Who would have thought someone picked that script up? Whoa. I thought that was pretty good. And then you had you had Denzel Washington in that shit. Like, and another guy that's not really much of a slouch.
Mark Wahlberg.
Dude. And they pretty much followed the script pretty well, and I thought it was an entertaining film. But again, a movie that people didn't really know that they were watching. I love that there's movies that come out like that go under the radar, but they do well enough where they like triple what their budget was. I mean, you look at like, you know, a successful film for DC like Man of Steel that did like $300 million, and then you look at like Iron Man 3 that did like $300 million, and it's like, whoa, that's incredible.
Your numbers are very, very off there.
Iron Man 3 did like 1.2 billion.
Yeah. Worldwide.
Yeah.
Oh, billion?
Yeah.
Oh.
Man of Steel did like 6, I think.
6 or 7.
And Man of Steel had like 3 times the marketing budget.
Okay, no, my bad. I was talking about the gross domestic. Gross domestic, $299 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Brock.
what's up, Brock?
Hey,
What you got on that, son?
Let's hear some of your favorite movies this year, Brock.
probably my absolute favorite was Star Trek Into Darkness.
Cool.
I watched it twice. It was so good.
I'm so glad you did because no one else did.
I believe that it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Cumberbatch, whatever his name is.
Cumberbatch.
Great actor. From what I did see, he does a great job.
He's Smaug.
Get the fuck out. Is he really?
Yeah, he's the
Get
voice.
the F out is what I mean to say. That's incredible.
You can say fuck on this. It's like it says explicit lyrics and shit on the iTunes.
Just not as often.
Dude, you say you drop the
going,
fuck
keep
on
going.
way more than I do. Just because you're white doesn't mean that you can drop more than me. I don't feel inferior around you.
Well, then
okay?
from the rest of this episode, let's just take it down a notch. Put the Modoc cup down, you know.
Brock, I would
Sober
love to hear
up.
more. I love Benedict. He did a great job.
Yeah, he did a really
I love all
he
the
did a
other
really good job.
characters and actors in the film.
I think that was my TV want for 2013 was Sherlock season 3.
Well, just wait a month.
I know. But I really enjoyed Thor immensely. I did not see Wolverine because I'm falling under your category with The Hobbit. I didn't want to watch a movie that didn't have extended scenes or actual blood in it, apparently.
It was ridiculous how
little
non-existent the blood in a Wolverine movie was. It was like, what? It was still a great movie, and you can, just like Star Wars, you can have a great movie without blood. But Wolverine, it's like his whole thing is blades.
With Star Wars,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily need the blood because it gets like the lasers and the lightsabers cauterize everything, right? So there's not really any blood. But with Wolverine, I mean, he's got claws. He pulls those out. There should be stuff gushing.
That's what I'm saying, Brock.
So, yeah. Funny enough, a movie that I was surprised about this year that I enjoyed, necessarily wasn't great, but very enjoyable, was Pacific Rim. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed watching it. It wasn't a great movie, but it was entertaining and just fun to watch.
It was a pretty great movie.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm split on the table. Man of Steel, garbage. Iron Man 3, garbage. So, you know.
You're 50% right.
Yeah, according to who?
Ryan or Bryce.
Yeah, there you go.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think I haven't seen Smaug yet. Smaug or Hobbit 2. So I was going to go this past weekend, but I didn't get a chance. So I'm going to try and catch it while I'm on break from my day job. So I'm looking forward to that. Otherwise, I don't think there was really much else. I mean, Red 2 I'll eventually watch at some point. But
School's out for winter.
basically, Higgins.
Yeah.
Did we take all your picks?
No. Not my number one. All of Pacific Rim, and Wolverine both get kind of some honorable mentions here because those are two movies. I was hoping Pacific Rim was going to be awesome, and it was. That's great. Wolverine I expected to be a giant pile of shit, and it was pretty great. Like, way better than I expected. So, big ups to those two. We talked about Wolverine at length here. Coming in, let's go I have a pretty clear 3-2-1 here. So, 3 for me is Thor 2. Again, I like Thor a whole lot, but man, Thor 2 for me just blew it out of the park. I mean, we talked about this at length, but yeah, Thor 2 was fantastic, and I'm really excited to see what they do if they can keep it going and do more of them. So, if they can ramp up every time the way they did, because Iron Man for me kind of felt each one was worse than the previous. Thor was so much better, I thought, and I liked the first one a whole lot. So that gives me kind of renewed hope for what's coming up for Marvel. Number 2, clearly Man of Steel. Loved it. Obviously, again, I talked at length about this, and I need to go on. But
you still like it?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I mean, I watched it twice. I watched it twice in the theater. I haven't watched it again on DVD. I have my Blu-ray. Maybe I'll watch it over the holiday or something like that. But yeah. I mean, just incredible. The effects, just the emotion, the feels. You know, it's such a powerful movie. Like I love the Marvel movies, but they're fun. Man of Steel and Batman and those, they're going for something totally different. And when it works really well. But my number one, not one anyone mentioned here, but my clear number one by far, when I walked out of the theater and went, yep, that's my favorite movie of the year. Nothing's going to beat it. Nothing did. It's the what the heck is it here? The Edgar Wright movie World's End. Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, and Nick Frost. That is my favorite movie of the year. And Bryce is going to look at me and be like, "You're such a fucking Anglophile," but it is. Yeah. I love it.
No, I've seen it, and you are an Anglophile, but I wouldn't say that you're a fucking Anglophile.
You did see it though?
I did see it.
Okay, yeah,
and I loved it.
Yeah,
and one of the two of us loves pub crawls way more than the other.
Considering I don't really drink, it's like I don't love pub crawls. I love this movie. The movie's great.
That's because you're an Anglophile.
Yeah.
It was a very funny movie. Let's agree, though, the ending totally fell down.
The ending, to me, it was a little talky. It was a little too explainy.
It was very weird. I would say the first 75% of the movie. Yeah, right up there with the best movies of the year.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you up until that point, up until the first 75%. If you want to, keep it going, that's totally on you. That's the Anglophile in you, just wanting to like it more, like me with Iron... No, Iron Man 3 was actually good, unlike Man of Steel. But, yeah, it was a great movie. I don't know about... number one, that's kind of an aggressive, like,
of this year, for my movies, that's my favorite.
Totally fair. It was a very funny movie. The first 75% was...
super funny.
Effing hilarious.
The third act was what killed it.
Sure. Yes, the third act.
Well, to me, what happened in that movie, it just escalated so quickly of what was happening, and by the end, you're like, okay, that's random. Like it really. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it, but they really escalate the severity of the situation in that movie really quickly.
It was like your Anchorman tweet recently.
Yeah.
Well, that escalated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is, and it is super funny though. Man, that movie's so great.
It was very, very funny.
Coming off of Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, this is sort of the third in this trilogy of these characters. So of these actors portraying, kind of.
So we ignore
friends. Paul's not really the same. It's not of the three.
Yeah, weren't they on record as saying that that's kind of their trilogy of that small English town?
Right.
In my opinion, it was sort of like Shaun of the Dead was the best. Hot Fuzz was almost as good, and World's End was almost as good as Hot Fuzz.
I think you're getting your trilogies mixed up. Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and Paul were with
no, it's not Paul.
One group of actors. This was with the guys who did Pineapple Express.
Stop.
Huh? World's End?
You're talking about...
No, you're talking about This Is the End.
Oh, This Is the End. Okay, sorry.
Now, This Is the End is on that list, too. This Is the End is fantastic.
Sorry, I get confused.
Now
There's too many end worlds.
By Brock Thank you.
This is the
too many ends.
We actually knew what we were talking about.
Yeah, This Is the End is fantastic, but World's End was just super good. Fantastic music, a lot of great funny references and everything, and just
show me your dick.
So good. Hey now. All right. Well, we're gonna real quickly here try to think about some stuff that we're gonna want to recommend for 2014 coming up, movies, TV. I know there's a lot of good stuff. Obviously, we have continuations of shows like Arrow. We have the return to Sherlock. I know a lot of you guys are into. We're coming up with the Christmas anniversary or Christmas episode of Doctor Who coming up in a few weeks. So it's not 2014, but
you mean Wednesday?
Yeah, very soon. Oh yeah, this is going up Monday, so Wednesday. Not that funny.
The two will be in 2014. Charlie, God damn it.
No. Anyone jump in? Just jump in.
I'll just jump in. Game of Thrones starts in March.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Absolutely.
You think the Blu-ray comes out in February, right, Charlie?
Yes, that is why we know that it comes out in March in America, because they've had it in Australia forever. The Blu-ray comes out in America in February, which means the new season starts in March.
That's how we Americans operate, 1 month before.
Apparently.
Agreed.
So just Game of Thrones, just all cylinders at this
Mother
point.
of Dragons.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why don't you show us your titties anymore? What's wrong with you?
she did, and it was incredible.
No, but she's going to stop. She's not going to do that kind of stuff anymore. I hate it.
Why not?
Why are you being a hater for Mother of Dragons?
Omar, later on in the books, there's an outfit that just shows one boob all the time.
We're going to still see that because that was before she made that announcement. That was all recorded already.
So, they took out the tow cars?
Anyway,
That's
I cannot
sad.
wait for this next season. Unfortunately, like every season, it seems to go by without much happening. But so much happens, it's weird.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for more Walking Dead so that I can continue to be not caught up, even though I want to be. Arrow by this time next year, hopefully I'll be midway through season 2, which is
Well, if you're talking Arrow, you got to talk about Flash. That more than likely is coming out.
Haven't seen it yet, Ryan.
More than likely coming out in September.
Yep.
And so Dexter is going to be no longer, thank God.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Doctor Who, by this time, I may be up to the Matt Smith stuff, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
You're on a decent clip. You're okay.
Yeah.
You're okay.
No, we're hauling through it. Kelly loves it. My wife
Nice.
loves it. So that actually,
I tell
for
you.
those of you that are married or have a very solid SO, you know that it's kind of well, actually, I don't know. Maybe you're not as whipped as I am, but if the SO loves it, that means you get to watch it. So it's
Doctor Who is so popular with female viewers. It's crazy. I bring it up every time. Like, I'm blown away by how popular it is, and it's one of those things. It's like men love it because it's science fiction. Women love it because it's obviously because it's science fiction
It's
too.
the Doctor.
But it's relationship stuff. There's a lot going on there. So yeah, it's a fantastic show. Arrow continuing, and then hopefully Flash. Coming in September.
Yeah.
I can't wait for those. Those are so. I'm so excited for more of that.
I'm hoping the Gotham show happens.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see that as soon as September, though. Do you?
I don't know.
It's going to happen in 2014, though, right?
I don't know. Flash would be the only one I'd pretty much guarantee. All the rest of these I can't see
When's
coming
the
out
Netflix shows supposed
that
to start?
soon. I don't think
That's very soon.
No.
Yeah, they said 2014.
With the Marvel stuff?
Yeah.
Is it really?
End of 2014.
End of
Maybe
2014,
very
yeah,
end. Yeah.
Well,
possibly.
I guess we'll be talking about it next year if it gets delayed.
Yeah. I feel like there's some other stuff too. There's some other
Days
big
of Future
stuff.
Past.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello.
He was on TV.
That's like
why.
next
Well,
month.
no, definitely Days of Future Past. Marvel has what is Guardians next year. Guardians and
Guardians and
Cap
Cap.
are both
Okay.
next
Dude,
year.
Winter Soldier, man, that looks so
So-
good.
Yeah,
Those action sequences, like done
Yeah.
by all those Korean people, fucking awesome.
yeah. Those Guardians is going to be that point for Marvel where everything that touches gold, or nope, this ain't happening. Sorry, guys. All your Namor and Submariner and Doctor Strange and Humans movies, they're just not going to work.
Yeah,
It is the defining moment for them.
Wasn't that exactly what people said about Thor?
I don't think so.
This guy's the hammer.
Cap, Thor, and Iron Man, I think, get a pass. They're the core Avengers. I think those were going to work. And even Cap and Thor didn't do great. They did really well. But Iron Man blew the roof off everything, and then Avengers just blew the roof off everything again.
Yeah.
So,
well, they did that, right? Iron Man, we talked about this many times. They did it because they're really smart. They fused a genius rocker with like things that are like catchy and things that people can relate to with like something that like science, it's not attainable. Like
All right.
people don't get it. And you have this like character that's just like, I mean, the perfect actor. If it was anybody else besides Robert Downey,
absolutely.
it would have been shit.
yeah,
So
it's good stuff.
yeah, I know. I'm totally looking forward to First Class 2 / Days of Future Past / oh man, those hero clicks
Is
are
anybody
looking
looking
good
forward
too.
to RoboCop?
Looking forward to that.
Nobody's looking forward to it.
RoboCop?
I'm very excited for Guardians of the Galaxy. I disagree. I think that Thor 2 was how can they possibly make this dude with a hammer and long, wavy blonde hair? How could they make him cool? And they totally did.
Fabio sold butter for years.
And so I thought that was totally an example
just keep
of
talking. It's
it
fine.
being like, wow, they actually made it successful. So since they made Thor so successful as they have, I have no doubt that they'll do a good job on Guardians. And by the way, just like you said, Cap and Thor, like their success wasn't measured in like how blockbustery they were. It was measured in the fact that they were not flops. So
No. And
with
then
Guardians, as long as it's not a flop, which by the way I don't think it will, because flops
No.
mostly only happen if you have a huge marketing campaign that doesn't sort of exponentially grow its box office gross. I think that if they just keep it with the grassroots sort of excitement, which they have so far, I think that it will be a modest success, just like Thor and Cap were not blockbusters but modest successes.
No, I think that Thor 2 blew people out of the water.
Thor 2, yeah.
Well, because like, I think it beat out Thor in the domestic market.
Yes.
And it beat out like every other movie
Well-
that was out during the time. That wasn't like some kiddie animation movie.
Pretty much every single Marvel movie since they've started this train ride has beat out the previous one of those movies. Like Thor 2 didn't like dethrone Iron Man or anything.
Of course
but
not. Of
Iron
course
Man
not. No.
1 didn't, like Iron Man 2 did better than Iron Man 1, and then Iron Man 3 did better than Iron Man 2, and like Thor, the same kind of trend. Thor 2 did better than Thor 1,
And better than just an inflation increase, too,
Yeah.
like significantly. Well,
Yeah.
not significantly, but in most cases,
Yeah.
way better.
It's just crazy how like a flawed film like Man of Steel gets like say 300 million domestic, and then another flawed film like Avengers gets 650 million domestic, and it's like they're both just like they're okay, they're good, but they're not as good as like Thor 2 or Iron Man.
See, to me, it's the box office success of those movies don't blow me away as much as the fact that the movie was pretty much already paid for before they came out due to toys and merchandising and everything else. I mean, that's where a lot of these franchises are really making money.
Yeah.
these
Well, and the
days.
thing is, though, we're talking TV, right? We're talking about TV and animation. How is it? I wasn't here for the conversation with you guys about the Paul Dini, Fat Man, Batman conversation. Girls really do spend way more than boys, and how is it that toys is something that they don't want to appeal to? I don't get it.
Well, they
I
didn't
don't
talk
get
much
it.
about it last week. They were
Yeah.
going to talk about it more this week.
Yeah, which this week, of course, means 3 weeks from now when we have a regular episode. So, yeah. It's a topic worth talking about at any point.
So before I came in today, IHOP and Sears called, and they said that they can't wait for Man of Steel 2 to come out
Yeah,
because
nice.
they want more product placement.
Excellent,
It's more
excellent.
egregious and offensive.
I can't wait. And on that
You
note,
know, the Marvel movies have product placement too.
It's not as in your face as that was, in my opinion. The IHOP scenes in Man of Steel, are you kidding me?
While I agree those were over the top, there are plenty of 7-Eleven scenes in the first few Marvel movies.
Just don't forget, guys, if there's a zombie apocalypse, make sure you're in a Hyundai.
Yep. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. We'll be back next week to talk about our best of 2013 comic book edition. So lots of not like we didn't talk about comics this entire episode, but more specifically comic books themselves. So there we go.
One soapbox to another.
Happy Chanukah.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you want to find this episode or more episodes, you can go to www.geekbox.net or comicsconspiracy.biz, where you can find all of these previous episodes. They're all on iTunes. Go give us some reviews. Forums.geekbox.net, you can go talk. Modocs are kissing right now, so it's...
I would say tonguing.
That was that noise you just heard. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz is where you can go buy all your digital comics. Go on there. There's some ridiculous sales going on right now for like almost every Marvel Now comic for 99 cents each. Tons of DC
Well,
essentials.
the first trade
arc,
worth,
right?
of
Yeah, the first
Marvel Now
arcs.
comics.
Ton of great books out there. We all do random other crap. Brock's got conspiratorBrock.com. Omok.
Omar.
That was
Modoc.
Omar and Modoc.
Omar, just my head.
Omar only designed for killing.
Omar's got Omar's got conspiratorBrock.com.
I got bought out.
Omar's got comicsanddecine.com. Charlie's on the Infinite Long Box podcast at
Lane, can you do it?
infinitelongbox.com.
Lane's on DeviantArt. What's your DeviantArt account?
Studio Muso.
There you go.
Dang, if you could hear that.
I'm sorry, what?
Studio Muso.
Studio
Musou.
Muso. So Lane, you can go find him there and all his great art there. We're on Twitter, Ryan Higgins Ryan, Brock Sager, Comics and Decine, that is Omar, Larsen Bryce is Bryce Larsen. Toby is Toby XI, hopefully he'll be back in the next episode. Charlie is Insanity and Chaos. No, I'm looking on the parking lot, he's not outside.
No,
So
I think Lane will be here, though.
he won't be on this next episode. Lane, you want to come back next week and be on another episode? Timey-wimey. And Lane, you got a Twitter, you got to drop anything?
Don't have Twitter.
Okay, excellent. You're a better man. All right. Have a good Christmas, everyone, and we will catch you. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, have a good day eating Chinese food. And
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Rah, 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 rah.